9 Things Men Should Never Do in Relationships. 1. Don't beg for her love. George, the charming barber from your old neighborhood, always humming a tune while snipping hair. George fell hard for Mary, a schoolteacher with a warm smile. When Mary started pulling away, busy with work, less chatty, George panicked. He'd wait outside her classroom with coffee, write her pleading notes, and even ask her friends to talk sense into her. Please, Mary, just give me a chance, he'd say. But Mary felt trapped, not cherished. She moved to another town, and George was left with nothing but his regrets and a pile of unsent letters. Why it hurts. Begging makes you feel like you're auditioning for a role in your own life. It tells her you don't believe you're enough, and that's a heavy burden to put on anyone. Psychologically, people respect those who value themselves. When you beg, you're not showing love. You're showing need, and neediness pushes people away like a storm scattering leaves. What to do instead? Stand tall, like the oak tree you've seen weather decades of storms. Say, I care for you, but I won't chase what doesn't choose me. If she doesn't see your worth, keep walking your path. Your dignity is your anchor. Don't cast it overboard. You're not a beggar. You're a king in your own story. Hold your head high, and the right people will bow to your strength. Think of the respect you earned over years, maybe as a worker, a parent, or a friend. You didn't beg for it, you lived it. Love works the same way. Be the man you'd admire, and love will find you. 2. Don't chase someone who's walking away. Let's meet Frank, a young mechanic in the 1960s with a knack for fixing anything except his love life. Frank adored Clara, a lively gal who loved dancing but kept canceling their plans. Frank thought, if I show up more, she'll see I'm serious. So, he'd drive across town to her favorite diner, wait for hours, and even follow her to dance halls, hoping for a glance. Clara kept slipping away, and Frank's spark faded. He wasn't chasing love, he was chasing a ghost. Why it hurts. Chasing someone who's pulling away is like running after a train that's already left the station. You're just wearing yourself out. It drains your energy, dims your confidence, and makes you feel like you're not enough. Women sense this desperation, and it's like a signal that says, I don't value myself, so why should you? What to do instead? Focus on your own journey, like a captain steering his ship. Build a life full of purpose, your hobbies, your friendships, your dreams. If she wants to join you, she'll catch up. If not, you're still sailing toward a horizon worth reaching. A real man doesn't chase shadows, he builds a life so bright that others are drawn to his light. Keep moving, and you'll find your rhythm. You've walked long roads to get here. You didn't chase respect in your career or community, you earned it by standing firm. Do the same in love, and you'll attract someone who walks beside you, not ahead of you. 3. Don't write endless messages when she doesn't reply. Story. Meet Ed, a poet at heart, who loved writing letters in the days before email. Ed fell for Rose, a painter with a free spirit. When Rose stopped writing back, Ed doubled down, sending page after page of heartfelt words. Maybe this letter will change her mind, he thought. But Rose's silence grew louder, and Ed felt like his words were falling into a bottomless well. He wasn't winning her heart, he was losing his own voice. Why it hurts. Sending message after message when she's silent is like pouring water into a sieve, it just slips away. It shows you're more invested in her than in yourself, and that imbalance kills attraction. Psychologically, people value what's rare and retreat from what's overwhelming. Your words lose power when they're given too freely. What to do instead? Save your words for those who listen, like saving your best stories for a rapt audience. Write for yourself, maybe in a journal, to sort out your feelings. Your voice is a gift. Don't scatter it where it's not welcomed. Your words are gold. Don't toss them into the wind. Speak with purpose, and you'll be heard by those who matter. You've shared wisdom with those who valued it, your kids, your neighbors, your friends. Your words and love should be just as precious. Guard them for someone who treasures your voice. For don't call repeatedly when she doesn't answer. Joe was a telephone man in the 1970s, always chatting with folks on his rotary phone. He fell for Betty, a nurse with a kind heart. When Betty stopped picking up his calls, Joe kept dialing, leaving voicemails filled with I miss you and please call me back. He thought persistence was romantic, but Betty felt smothered. Joe's calls didn't bring her closer, they pushed her away, and he felt like he was losing his grip. Why it hurts. Calling over and over when she's not answering is like knocking on a door that's been locked. It makes you feel desperate and signals to her that you're not grounded. Women sense when a call comes from need, not strength, and it breaks the connection. It's not about love, it's about trying to soothe your own fears. What to do instead? Put the phone down, like setting aside a tool that's not working. Spend that energy on something that lifts you, maybe a walk, a chat with a friend, or a favorite hobby. Let silence be your strength, not your enemy. A man's voice is strongest when it's steady and sure. Save your calls for those who answer with joy, and you'll feel like a giant. You've learned when to speak and when to listen in life. In love, silence can be just as powerful. Hold your voice for someone who's eager to hear it. 5. Don't change who you are to please her. Sam was a fisherman at heart, spending weekends by the lake with his rod and a thermos of coffee. He met Laura, a city girl who loved bright lights and crowded parties. To win her over, Sam traded his flannel for suits, skipped his fishing trips, and tried to be the sophisticated man he thought Laura wanted. But Sam wasn't happy, and Laura still left, saying, "You're not yourself anymore." Sam lost her, and the man he loved being. Why it hurts. Changing your core to fit someone else's mold is like wearing shoes that don't fit. You'll stumble and hurt. If she doesn't love the real you, your passions, your quirks, your values, she's not the right fit. Pretending to be someone else dims your light and leaves you empty. What to do instead? Be proud of who you are, like a tree rooted deep in the earth. Share your world with her, but don't reshape it to match hers. The right woman will love you for the man you are, not the man you think she wants. Motivation: you're a one-of-a-kind classic, like a vintage car polished by time. Don't repaint yourself to match someone else's taste, shine as you are. You've earned your stripes by being true to yourself. Whether it's your love for gardening, storytelling, or Sunday drives, hold on to what makes you you. That's what draws the right people close. 6. Don't sacrifice your dignity for attention. Story: Henry, our friend from earlier, had another lesson to learn. He dated Ellen, who often criticized him unfairly. To keep the peace, Henry apologized for things he didn't do and agreed with her even when she was wrong. I just want her to stay, he thought. But Ellen lost respect for him, and Henry felt like he was shrinking. He wasn't keeping her love, he was losing his backbone. Why it hurts: sacrificing your dignity, your self-respect, makes you feel like you're betraying yourself. It tells her you'll accept less than you deserve, and that erodes trust and attraction. A relationship without mutual respect is like a house without a foundation, it won't stand. What to do instead? Stand up for yourself, like you did when you faced life's challenges. Say, I respect you, but I also respect myself. Set boundaries with kindness, and you'll build a stronger connection, or find the courage to walk away. Your dignity is your shield and your sword. Wield it with pride, and you'll conquer any storm. You faced tough times with grace, maybe a boss who undervalued you or a hardship you overcame. You didn't bow then, and you don't need to now. Your dignity is your legacy. 7. Don't wait for her to choose you. Charlie was a dreamer, always sketching plans for a better future. He loved Jane, who kept him on a string, dating others while Charlie waited for her to pick him. Years passed, and Charlie put his dreams on hold, hoping Jane would see his loyalty. Jane never chose him, and Charlie realized he'd lost time he couldn't get back. Why it hurts: waiting for someone to choose you is like standing in line for a train that might never come. It puts your life on pause and makes you feel like an option, not a priority. You're worth more than being someone's backup plan. What to do instead? Choose yourself, like picking the best seat at a banquet. Pursue your goals, your passions, your joy. The right woman will walk beside you, not keep you waiting in the wings. You're the star of your story, not an extra. Write your own script, and the right co-star will join you. You've built a life by making bold choices, maybe moving to a new town, starting a family, or taking a chance. Don't wait for love to happen. Live boldly, and love will follow. 8. Don't try to prove your worth. Walter was a generous man, always helping others. When he dated Susan, he thought big gestures would win her heart. He bought her fancy gifts, paid for lavish dinners, and did endless favors, hoping she'd see his value. But Susan didn't care about the gifts. She wanted a man who knew his own worth. Walter felt used, like he'd spent his heart for nothing. Why it hurts: trying to prove your worth through actions or gifts is like shouting, I'm not enough. True worth comes from within: your character, your kindness, your strength. When you try to buy love, you cheapen yourself and attract people who don't see the real you. What to do instead? Live with confidence, like you did when you faced life's challenges. Show your worth through your actions. Be kind, be honest, be strong, not by trying to win her approval. The right woman will see your value without a price tag. You're a diamond, not a dime. Shine with your own light, and the world will see your value. You've earned respect through years of integrity, helping neighbors, raising kids, or standing up for what's right. You don't need to prove you're a good man. Live like one, and love will follow. 9. Don't lose yourself trying to keep her. Bill was the life of the party, always dancing to his favorite records and hosting card games with his buddies. When he dated Nancy, she wanted him to focus only on her. Bill gave up his dancing, his games, and even his old friends, thinking it'd make Nancy stay. When Nancy left, Bill looked in the mirror and didn't recognize himself. He'd lost more than her, he'd lost his spark. Why it hurts: losing your passions, your friends, or your sense of self to keep someone else is like cutting down your own tree to build their house. It leaves you empty and resentful. A real partner wants you to be you, not a shadow of yourself. What to do instead? Keep doing what lights you up, like the hobbies and friendships that have carried you through life. Share your world with her, but don't give it away. The right woman will love you for your fire, not ask you to dim it. You're a flame, not a flicker. Burn bright, and the right people will be drawn to your warmth. Your life is a tapestry of passions, maybe gardening, storytelling, or fixing old cars. Don't unravel it for anyone. The right partner will weave their thread into yours, not pull yours apart. Dear elders, you're the backbone of our world, storytellers, wisdom keepers, and pillars of strength. You've seen love bloom and fade, hearts mend and break. These lessons aren't just about romance, they're about living with purpose and pride at any age. Whether you're advising a grandson, comforting a friend, or reflecting on your own journey, remember this: a man's strength lies in knowing who he is and standing firm, even when the winds of rejection blow. Think back to the challenges you faced, maybe raising a family through tough times, rebuilding after a setback, or standing up for what's right. You didn't get through those by begging or chasing. You took a deep breath, squared your shoulders, and kept going. Relationships are no different. A man who respects himself draws respect from others, whether it's a partner, a friend, or a community. Let's add a touch of science to ground this. Psychologists talk about attachment styles, ways we connect with others. Men who chase often have an anxious attachment style, fearing abandonment and seeking validation. But there's another way, secure attachment. A secure man doesn't chase or run, he responds with clarity and confidence. He knows his worth, like you know the value of a life well lived. That's the man women respect, the man who commands a room with quiet strength, not loud desperation. Let's close with a story that'll lift your spirits and leave you cheering. Meet Clarence, now 78, with a twinkle in his eye and a laugh that fills the room. In his 30s, Clarence chased a woman named Helen who didn't value him. He'd call her daily, write her poems, and try to be the man he thought she wanted. But Helen kept him at arm's length, and Clarence felt like he was fading. One day, he looked in the mirror and said, "Enough. I'm worth more than this." Clarence stopped calling, stopped chasing, and started living. He joined a choir where his baritone voice rang out with pride. He took up gardening, growing roses that won prizes at the county fair. He reconnected with old friends, sharing stories over coffee. Clarence wasn't just filling his days, he was rebuilding his soul. Years later, at a community dance, he met Ruth, a woman with a warm smile and a love for music. Ruth didn't need to be chased, she was drawn to Clarence's confidence, his joy, his presence. They danced, laughed, and built a life together, not because Clarence begged, but because he became a man who knew his worth. That's the power of these lessons. They're not about giving up on love, they're about finding it the right way, by being your best self. For elders, this is a reminder that it's never too late to stand tall, to live with dignity, and to inspire those around you to do the same. Whether you're 60, 80, or 100, your spark is still there, fan it into a flame. Motivation to carry forward. A call to action, dear elders. You are legends, men who've weathered storms, built legacies, and carried love in your hearts through decades of change. You've earned your place through grit, grace, and wisdom. Don't let anyone, man or woman, make you feel like you need to beg, chase, or shrink to be loved. You are enough, just as you are, like a mountain standing proud against the sky. If you ever feel the urge to chase or plead, pause and ask, what would the man I admire most do? Picture the strongest version of yourself, the man who faced life's battles and came out wiser. Then straighten your shoulders, take a step forward, and walk toward a life that makes you proud. That's where true love, respect, and happiness wait, not in chasing, but in becoming. Let's keep this fire burning, together. Share these lessons with your sons, your grandsons, your friends. Live them in your own life, whether you're seeking love or simply seeking peace. You're not just men, you're beacons of strength, lighting the way for generations. Stand tall, laugh loud, and love with the confidence of a life well lived. The world is watching, and it's cheering you on.